All right, we are moving on to 9192, circumference and area of circles. So I can find and use the circumference and area of a circle. So we're going to be talking about the diameter. Just a reminder, that is the distance across a circle through the center. Right, it's that straight line all the way from one side to the other, has to go through the center. And then the radius is the distance from the center of a circle to the outside of the circle. And we call this sometimes half the diameter, right? Because it's half of what was across, all the way across, right? So the radius is half the diameter, or we can say the diameter is 2 times the radius. So the circumference is the distance around a circle. It's like when you draw it, right? That's the circumference. And then the area is the measurement inside a shape, measured in square units. So area is always the inside of a shape, and so we're going to find both the circumference and the area today. So first we're going to do circumference. So we can use 2 different formulas for circumference. You can use circumference equals, that's pi times diameter, or we can say circumference is equal to 2 times pi times r, or the radius. And the reason we can do that is because we just said that diameter is 2 times r. So there's my 2 and there's my r, and that's why it's the same as this, okay? So let's find the circumference of the first one. So we have, this is the radius, because it's halfway from the center to the outside. That's the radius. So we're going to use that second formula. So we're going to say circumference equals 2 times pi times 14. So the nice thing is you can do, or do the order of operations, and they're both multiplication. So I can multiply in any order I want to due to the commutative property. So I'm just going to do 2 times 14 in my head, and we're going to get 28 pi. Sometimes we leave it like this and just say the circumference is 28 pi. But if it asks you to find it using 3.14, you would have to times pi by 3.14. So we're going to go 28 times, I'm going to actually switch that, 3.14 times 28. So 3.14 is an estimate for pi, right? Because pi is always going and going and going. So to be able to use it, we just use 3.14. All right, so 8 times 4 is 32. And then 8, 9, 10, 11. And then 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1, 25. Then we move over. So we get 8, 2, 6. And then we get 2, 9, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. And then I had 2 numbers behind the decimal. So I go like this. And we actually are going to put an about symbol because we now estimated it. So we either can say the circumference is 28 pi or 87 and 92 hundredths. Either or. And we would say feet for both of these, just feet. Circumference is like diameter, not diameter, perimeter. So it's just like counting around it. So it's just 28 pi feet or 87 and 92 hundredths feet. Now for diameter, which is the second one all the way across, we would use that first formula. So we're going to go circumference equals pi times 11. Now we actually can just leave it like that and call it 11 pi centimeters. But if we wanted a little bit more exact, or to a decimal, we would actually need to take 3.14 and times it by 11. I'm going to erase my feet here so I can multiply. So we're going to get 4, 1, 3, move over, 4, 1, 3. And when we add, we're going to get about 4, 5, 4, 3. And then there's 2 numbers behind the decimal, so 2 numbers. And we say it's 34 and 5400 centimeters. So either one of these answers works. It just depends on what the directions say. And then same here. This one or this one. All right, so the next question says, what is the radius of a circle that has a circumference of 628 centimeters? So this is working backwards, using our circumference to help us find pieces of the circle. So since it's asking for radius, we definitely want to use our second formula, circumference equals 2 pi r, because we need the radius. So circumference is 625, so I'm going to go 628, sorry, I don't know where the 5 came from, equals 2 times, I'm going to change it right away to 3.14 times r, because we don't know what radius is. So first thing we're going to do is take 2 times 3.14, and then we're going to get 628 equals 6 to 8 decimal times radius. And then this is just like a one-step equation, so we'll divide by 6 and 2800ths. And once we do that, the radius equals 100. All right, so that's using our circumference to help us find pieces. All right, so area is, remember, now the inside of the circle. So the formula for area is pi r squared, or r times itself. We only use the radius when it comes to area. So here we have a radius of 12, right? This is my radius. It's a really bad r. So we're going to go area equals pi times 12 squared. Well, that's going to be pi times 144. And we can either leave it like that or we can times, which is what we're going to do. So we're going to take 144 and times it by 3.14. So we get 16, 16, 17, 4, 5. Move over. 4, 4, 1. 2 over. 12, 12, 13, and then 3, 4. So we add them together, we get 6, and that's 11, then 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 3, 4, 5, and then 4, and we had 1, 2, so we move the decimal over twice, and we would actually say this is an approximate because, again, we used 3.14, and when we do that, that's an estimate, right? Pi really doesn't equal 3.14, and we would say this is millimeters and then squared. So the reason it's squared is because right here at 12, that's my millimeters, and I'm squaring those. Well, that's millimeters times millimeters, and anything times itself is squared. So this is millimeters squared. Millimeters times millimeters. That's how we get millimeters squared. For the second problem, that's the diameter. If you notice in the area formula, we don't have diameter. Remember, diameter is going to equal 2 times the radius, or you even can say that the radius is equal to half the diameter, right? Divided by 2. So the radius in this case equals 7 because the diameter is 14. Right? We cut it in half. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to push pause and try finding the area of this circle on your own. Right? We're going to do area equals 7 squared times pi. So I'm going to set it up for you, and then I want you to go see if you can solve. All right, so you should have gotten that this was 49 times pi. Okay, right, because 7 squared is 49. And then once you multiplied by 3.14, you should have gotten approximately 153 and 86 hundredths. And then remember, meters squared. Meters squared. All right, so this one's just like that last circumference problem where it says, what is the area of the circle that has a circumference of 4 pi? So this is a little bit different, I guess, but we're using information to help us find other information, right? So it says the circumference equals 4 pi. Well, we think circumference equals diameter times pi, right? So that tells us that the diameter equals 4. Right? Because 4 pi, there it is, d times pi matches up, one variable, one number. Well, then we have to cut that in half to find the radius, so we get 2. Because for area, I have to use the radius, and I can't use the diameter. So now we're going to go area equals 2 squared times pi. So that's 4 pi, interesting enough, comes right back out. That's just a coincidence of that 2 times 2, right, 4. And so we're going to take 3.14 and times it by 4. So 16, 4, 5, 12. So we're going to get approximately 12 and 56 hundredths. And there's no units for this, so we can just say units squared. All right. So things to remember. I'm going to type them just so that my handwriting is not bad. Circumference can use either the radius or diameter. Area has to use, let's play this, area only can use the radius. And then remember, radius equals diameter divided by 2. And diameter equals 2 times the radius. I totally forgot an E up here. Okay. So in your independent practice, you're going to find the area of this pizza. Okay, most popular pizzas at Pavone's Pizza is 10 inches, personal pizza with 1 topping. What is the area of a pizza with a diameter, a diameter of 10 inches. So realize it says diameter, so we're going to have to do it like we did the second problem. And then this one, you're going to find the circumference. And remember, this is your radius, halfway. That's your radius. All right, until next time.